The city of Lerato was full of noise and light. Cars moved fast, music played from shops, and people rushed everywhere. In the middle of this busy city stood a tall, beautiful white mansion. The walls shone like glass, flowers lined the gate, and guards stood like statues. That was the house of Madame Vanessa Cole. Vanessa was rich, very rich. She owned companies, cars, and houses. People called her the Iron Lady of Lerato. She was always neat, beautiful, and proud. When she walked into a room, everyone stopped to look at her. But Vanessa was also a woman who liked control. She didn't laugh much. She didn't show kindness easily. Her eyes were sharp, and her voice was cold. She lived alone in her big house, with workers who feared her more than they respected her. One morning, a new maid came to the house. Her name was Anna. Anna was young and calm. Her clothes were simple, her face gentle. She didn't talk too much. Her eyes were soft, but behind them was quiet strength. The other workers whispered to each other. "She won't last long," one said. "Nobody stays long under Madame Vanessa," another replied. When Anna first met Vanessa, she bowed politely. "Good morning, ma." Vanessa didn't smile. You're the new one. What's your name?" "Anna, ma." Vanessa looked her up and down. "Listen carefully, Anna. I don't want mistakes in my house. I don't shout. I simply remove people who cannot do their work. Do you understand?" "Yes, ma," Anna said softly. From that day, Anna worked quietly from morning till night. She cleaned the floors until they shone like mirrors. She arranged flowers in the hall, folded clothes neatly, and made sure Madame's food was always perfect. Vanessa didn't say thank you. She rarely spoke to her. But something about Anna's calm spirit bothered her. She could not explain it. Anna was different. She didn't rush. She didn't complain. She simply worked with quiet peace. Sometimes, Vanessa would walk through the house at night and find everything perfectly in place. Her scarf folded, her coffee cup washed, her favorite perfume set on the dresser. She never asked who did it. She just assumed that her staff finally understood what she wanted. But it was always Anna. One evening, Vanessa decided to throw a big party. Her mansion came alive with music, laughter, and the smell of perfume and wine. Guests arrived in fine clothes. Photographers clicked cameras. The house sparkled with gold light. Vanessa wore a silver dress and a diamond necklace that shone like fire. She smiled at everyone, but her smile was not real. It was the smile of a woman who had everything except peace. Anna worked quietly that night, carrying trays of drinks and food. She moved through the crowd like air. Nobody noticed her. But outside the gate, under the rain, someone was watching. An old woman stood there, her wrapper soaked and her eyes tired. Her hair was gray, her back bent, but her gaze was sharp. She looked at the mansion with deep sadness. The guard saw her and frowned. "Old mother, you cannot stay here," one said. "Please," she said softly, "I just need a little food. Anything." The guard shook his head. "Go away. This is not a place for begging." The old woman sighed but did not move. The rain kept falling. Inside the kitchen, Anna was cleaning dishes when she looked out the window and saw the old woman standing there. Something in her heart moved. Without thinking twice, she took a clean plate and filled it with rice and grilled fish. One of the cooks stopped her. "Where are you going with that food?" Anna whispered, "Please don't tell Madam," and she slipped out the back door. The rain hit her face as she ran to the gate. The old woman looked up. Her lips trembled. "Mother," Anna said gently, "please eat something. You must be hungry." The old woman's eyes softened. She took the plate with shaking hands. "You are kind, my child. The world needs more hearts like yours." She touched Anna's hand gently, like a whisper. For a moment, Anna felt a warm light pass through her body. It was not fire. It was peace, the kind that made her chest feel full and her eyes tear up. "Thank you," the old woman said. "Kindness done in secret never goes unseen." Then she turned and walked away into the rain until Anna couldn't see her anymore. When Anna returned to the kitchen, she froze. Madame Vanessa was standing by the door. Her arms were folded. Her eyes were cold. "Where were you?" Vanessa asked quietly. I went to give food to someone outside, ma. Vanessa's face did not move. You gave my food to a stranger without asking me? Yes, ma. She was hungry.
The silence was heavy. The rain tapped the windows softly. Finally, Vanessa said, "Anna, you forget your place. This house is not a charity home. If everyone gave away food, what would be left for the people who work for it? Go to your room. I don't want to see you until morning." Anna bowed her head and walked away. She did not cry, but as she sat on her small bed that night, she whispered to herself, "It is never wrong to feed someone who is hungry." Outside, thunder rolled again. The rain grew stronger, and up in her large bedroom, Madame Vanessa could not sleep. Her eyes stared at the ceiling, her thoughts restless. For some reason, she could still see Anna's face in her mind, calm, honest, and full of something she had lost long ago, mercy. She turned over in bed and closed her eyes, but the wind outside began to blow harder, whistling through the windows. Somewhere in the distance, a faint voice seemed to whisper, "The house of glass will soon meet the dust." And that night, without knowing it, Vanessa's life began to change. The walls of pride she built around herself were about to crack. The same kindness she had punished was about to become the light that saved her. The next morning, the sun rose weak and pale over Lerato City. The rain had stopped, but the ground was still wet, and the air smelled like dust and secrets. Inside the big mansion, the mood had changed. The walls that once felt proud now seemed quiet. Even the workers spoke softly, afraid to make a sound. Madame Vanessa sat alone at the dining table. Her white silk robe brushed the floor as she stirred her coffee slowly. She looked tired, even though she would never admit it. Anna came in quietly, carrying a fresh bread and eggs. "Good morning, Ma," she said. Vanessa didn't reply. She just looked at the food and pushed the plate aside. Anna stood still for a moment, then bowed her head and left. When she was gone, Vanessa whispered under her breath, "She reminds me of someone I used to be." That same day, everything started to go wrong. First, one of Vanessa's biggest business deals failed. A contract she had worked on for months was canceled suddenly. The company that was supposed to sign with her pulled out without warning. Then her lawyer called with bad news. One of her top managers had stolen a large amount of money and disappeared. By evening, her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Every call brought more problems. Investors were nervous. Clients were canceling meetings. Her perfect world was shaking little by little. When she finally went upstairs that night, her head ached. The lights in her room flickered for a moment, and she sighed. The air felt heavy, as if the house itself could feel her troubles. Downstairs, Anna worked quietly as usual, but when she finished cleaning, she stopped and looked toward the stairs. Something told her Madame was not okay. She walked to the kitchen, filled a small bowl with soup, and carried it to Madame's door. She placed it on the floor gently, knocked once, and walked away. A few minutes later, Vanessa opened the door and saw the soup still warm. She looked around, confused. Nobody was there. She stared at the bowl for a long time before picking it up. She took a small sip. It was simple, but soothing. For the first time in weeks, she felt a little warmth inside her chest. That night, she slept deeply for the first time in a long time. The next week was even worse. Vanessa's second company was accused of fraud. The news spread fast across social media. Reporters waited outside her date, shouting questions. Friends who used to visit her every weekend stopped calling. Her mansion that was always full of people was now empty. No laughter, no noise, only silence. She sat by her big window one afternoon, watching the rain fall. The city lights reflected in her eyes, and tears rolled down her cheeks. For the first time, Vanessa felt truly alone. Anna walked in quietly to clean the room. When she saw Madam crying, she stopped. "Madam, would you like some tea?" Vanessa wiped her face quickly. "No, I'm fine." Anna nodded and went to leave, but Vanessa spoke again. "Anna, why are you still here? Everyone else wants to leave." Anna turned slowly. "Because running away from people in pain doesn't heal the world, Ma." Vanessa stared at her for a moment. Her lips trembled, but no words came out. Anna bowed and left quietly. That night, Vanessa sat outside her balcony. The city lights twinkled far away, and the wind blew gently through her hair. She remembered her old life, the struggles, the hunger, the fight to rise. She had promised herself she would never be poor again, but in chasing riches, she had lost her kindness. She whispered, "Maybe I became too hard." Days passed. Vanessa's situation grew worse. Her bank account was frozen while the investigation continued. Her fancy car stopped working mysteriously. The engines wouldn't start. Even her garden began to dry out. Everything she touched seemed to fade. One morning she woke up and saw that her jewelry box had fallen from the table. Her favorite necklace, the diamond one she wore to every party, was broken. The gem lay on the floor, cracked in two. Vanessa sank to her knees. "Why is this happening to me?" she whispered. Downstairs, Anna was sweeping when she heard the sound of breaking glass. She rushed upstairs and found Madam on the floor. "Madam, are you okay?" Vanessa didn't answer. Her eyes were red from crying.
Anna helped her up gently. "It will be okay, Ma." Vanessa laughed sadly. "You don't understand, Anna. Everything I built is falling apart. Everything." Anna looked at her quietly and said, "Sometimes, things must fall apart so we can see what truly matters." Her voice was calm, almost like music. Vanessa looked at her with surprise. There was strength in this young woman, something she had never seen before. That night, when everyone slept, Anna lit a small candle in her room. She knelt beside her bed and closed her eyes. "God," she whispered, "please help Madam Vanessa. I know she is hurting. She doesn't show it, but she is. Please give her peace." A soft breeze passed through her window. The flame flickered gently, but it didn't go out. Far away, in the dark corner of Vanessa's office downtown, a strange thing happened. A file that had been missing for weeks slid from a shelf and fell open on the floor. Inside it was proof that could clear Vanessa's name and save her company. Nobody was there to see it, but destiny had already begun to move. The next morning, Vanessa came downstairs and called all her workers together. She looked tired, but calm. "I know many of you have heard what's happening. If you want to leave, I will not stop you." The workers looked at each other nervously. None of them spoke. Then Vanessa turned to Anna. "Anna, I owe you an apology. I was too harsh that night. You gave food to that woman, didn't you?" Anna nodded slowly. "Yes, Ma." "Why did you do it?" "Because she looked hungry, and because it was right." Vanessa sighed. For a long time, she said nothing. Then she whispered, "Maybe that was the first right thing anyone did in this house for a long time." She smiled, a small, tired, but real smile. For the first time, there was peace in her eyes. That night, the rain returned, soft, gentle rain that kissed the earth instead of breaking it. The wind sang through the trees, and somewhere in the distance, an old woman's voice whispered again, "The light always returns to the hand that gives." The next morning, the sky over Lerato City was clear. The sun rose bright and strong, but Vanessa's heart was still heavy. She sat by her window, holding a cup of tea that had gone cold. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen. It was her lawyer, Mr. Dubé. She answered quickly. "Mr. Dubé, please tell me there's good news." There was a pause. Then the lawyer said, "Madam, something strange happened. A file appeared in your office, one that had gone missing. It proves that the fraud wasn't your fault." Vanessa gasped. "What? How? I don't know, the lawyer said, but whoever found it may have saved you. Vanessa felt tears fill her eyes. Thank you, she whispered. After the call, she sat still for a moment, thinking. How could a lost file appear by itself? It made no sense, but deep in her heart, she remembered the night Anna prayed for her, though Anna never told her she did. Somehow, Vanessa felt that gentle light again. A few days later, she was called for a government hearing. Everyone expected her to lose. People whispered that she would go bankrupt. But when the new file was presented, everything changed. The truth came out. Her ex-manager had faked documents to cover his theft. Vanessa was cleared of all accusations. The officials even apologized to her. The news spread fast. Madame Vanessa proven innocent. But this time, Vanessa didn't throw a party. She didn't buy champagne or call friends.
She went home quietly. When she walked into the mansion, Anna was sweeping the living room. She looked up in surprise. "Madam, you are back early." Vanessa smiled gently. "Yes, Anna, I am." She walked closer, her eyes soft. "The case is over. I've been cleared." Anna smiled. "That's good news, Ma." Vanessa looked at her for a long moment, then said something nobody expected. "Anna, sit with me." Anna froze. "Madam?" "Yes, sit." They sat together on the couch. The room was quiet, the air calm. For the first time, Vanessa looked at Anna not as a maid, but as a person. "Anna," she said softly, "I was once like you. Years ago, before all the money and fame, I was just a girl working in someone's house. I was treated badly. I promised myself that one day I'd never let anyone look down on me again. But along the way, I became the very thing I hated." Anna's eyes glistened. "Madam, life changes people. But it's never too late to change again." Vanessa nodded slowly. "You're right." Then she said quietly, "Thank you, Anna, for staying, for caring when I didn't deserve it." Anna smiled shyly. "You're welcome, Ma." At that moment, the mansion felt different. Lighter, warmer. It was as if the house itself was breathing again.
That night, Vanessa walked into Anna's small room. She looked around. It was neat, but very plain. "Anna," she said, "you've worked for me long enough. You never complain, you never ask for more. Tell me, what do you really want in life?" Anna looked surprised. "Me, Ma? I just want to be free. I want to start something small, maybe a bakery or a food shop, a place where people can eat and smile." Vanessa smiled. "A bakery?" "Yes, Ma. Cooking makes me happy. Feeding people makes me feel alive." Vanessa nodded and said nothing else. But the next morning, when Anna woke up, she found an envelope on her table. Inside it was a bank check and a short note that read, "For the light you gave me when my world was dark. Vanessa Cole." Anna covered her mouth in shock. Tears ran down her cheeks. She ran to the living room. "Madam, I can't take this. It's too much." Vanessa smiled. "No, Anna, you earned it. You gave me something money couldn't buy. Kindness. Now it's my turn to give something back." Anna hugged her tightly. For a long time, neither of them said a word. Months passed. Anna left the mansion and opened her bakery in the heart of Lerato city. She called it the Lighthouse Cafe. The shop smelled of fresh bread and laughter. Every morning people came, rich and poor, young and old. Anna served them all with a smile. One day, Vanessa walked in quietly, wearing simple clothes. Anna saw her and smiled brightly. "Madam Vanessa," she cried. Vanessa laughed. No, just Vanessa." They sat down together, drinking tea and laughing like old friends. "I am proud of you. You made something beautiful." Anna smiled softly. "You helped me believe I could." Vanessa looked out the window. "You know, my businesses are growing again, but this time I do things differently. I treat people better. I even started a charity to help young women start small businesses." Anna's eyes shone. "That's wonderful, Ma. I mean, Vanessa." They both laughed. Later that evening, when Vanessa left the cafe, she saw an old woman sitting by the roadside. The same woman Anna had fed months ago. Her hair was still grey, her eyes gentle. Vanessa stopped. "Mother, are you all right?" The woman smiled. "I am, my daughter. You finally found your right." Vanessa froze. You know me?" The woman only smiled wider. "I know kindness when I see it, and I know when it returns to where it began." She touched Vanessa's hand softly. "Never forget, the hands that give light will never walk in darkness." Then she stood and walked away, slow, calm, and peaceful, disappearing into the glow of the evening sun. Vanessa stood still for a long time watching her go. Tears filled her eyes, but they were not sad tears. They were tears of peace, the kind that come when the heart is finally free. That night, the city lights of Lerato shone brighter than ever before. In one corner, the lighthouse cafe stayed open late, full of laughter and love. And in her home, Vanessa looked out at the stars and whispered, "The light always returns to the hand that gives."